Tonight on News 3 New Mexico, a Portales attorney claims a win in a Supreme Court case.
And what can you expect your weekend weather to look like? Find out in my full weather forecast.
And WT is advancing to the NCAA championship after a buzzer beater. News 3 New Mexico starts right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Claire Moots. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced today that she will be calling the New Mexico legislature into a special session on March 30th. She is asking them to take up the legislation of cannabis and the expansion of a state economic development program. The two measures, she says, that are focused on the statewide economic opportunity and job creation. She said, "I am grateful for those legislative leaders and members who have expressed enthusiasm about returning to the people's work so soon after a challenging 60-day session." For more information, you can visit the governor's website that's displayed at the bottom of your screen. The New Mexico Department of Health has released new guidelines for visitation in long-term care facilities. Outdoor visitation will remain the preferred method of visiting, even for those who are fully vaccinated. Now, indoor visits are allowed with requirements surrounding the size of the room and the number of occupants. If the resident is fully vaccinated, they may choose to have close contact with their visitors. Those long-awaited hugs and holding hands are now allowed. As for communal dining and social activities, those are also allowed. Testing, infection control measures, and public health instructions all still remain in place, like wearing a mask. These new guidelines will be dependent on each county's positivity rate. As of right now, all counties are in the green, except for Hardin County, which is in the yellow. If you have a loved one in long-term care and want to receive the vaccine before visiting, I'm here today to tell you who qualifies in New Mexico. In the governor's vaccine equity plan, there are 13 groups of people that currently qualify. Those include essential workers, persons 16 and older with a chronic health condition or a disability, New Mexicans age 60 and older, as well as residents and staff of long-term care facilities. For more information on who qualifies and where you can get the vaccine, you can visit nmhealth.org. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham proclaimed next week, March 28th to April 3rd, as Wildfire Awareness Week. New Mexico and states across the Southwest are at risk for wildfires due to significant drought. The Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department and the Forestry Division are joining local, state, federal, and tribal partners in encouraging New Mexicans to remember that wildfire preparedness is year-round and it's everyone's responsibility to prevent human-caused wildfires. About 80 wildfires have burned more than 2,000 acres since the beginning of the year. So Scott, with Wildfire Awareness Week coming up, what kind of tips do you have for us?
Claire, I do have a couple tips. So the first is follow local fire restrictions, make sure campfires are out cold, secure tow chains and trailers and RVs so they don't drag and create sparks. Stay fire safe around your home and workplace when using equipment that could cause a spark. And please keep a fire extinguisher nearby to put out flames. Never toss cigarettes, matches, or other smoking materials from moving vehicles. And lastly, follow local ordinances when burning yard waste and do not burn debris or weeds on windy days. And speaking of the fire, that actually rolls really well into this next slide as we show our current wind speeds going into tomorrow. So as we can see, not a whole lot going on across the state on Saturday morning. However, once we get to about 5 o'clock on Saturday, we can see the entire state is engulfed in those 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. And we can also see, as we progress, there will be wind speeds of 20 to 30 miles per hour across the southwest, moving from Roswell to Portales. Now, let's take a look at our weekday planner for the lovely city of Portales. So today we expected a little bit of wind with a high of 77 on Saturday. We can expect to see a pretty sunny day with a little bit of cloud coverage at 67 on the high And on Sunday, we will be expecting that same temperature at 67, but we will be seeing quite a bit of sunny skies. And that is all the weather I have for you right now. Go back to Claire at the desk.
New Mexicans who are not dependents and who receive the Working Family Tax Credit will receive a one-time $600 rebate. The New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department said Tuesday recipients must have an adjusted gross income of no more than $39,000 if they are married and filing as the head of household, or $31,200 or less if they are single filers. If you have already filed your 2020 tax return and are eligible for the rebate, you do not need to take any further action. Those rebates are expected to be either mailed or delivered by direct deposit. The Supreme Court says a New Mexico woman can sue police over excessive force. In a 5-3 ruling, the High Court wiped away a lower court opinion that went against the woman, Roxanne Torres, a client of a Portales lawyer, Eric Dixon. They also asked the lower court to take another look at whether her claim can go forward under the Constitution's Fourth Amendment that bars unreasonable search and seizure. The incident in question happened in 2014. Torres was sitting in her car when two individuals approached her. They were law enforcement, but Torres thought she was about to be a victim of carjacking, so she stepped on the gas and drove away. The officers then shot her in the back. Torres claims they violated her rights. President Biden has called on Senate to pass a ban on assault weapons and strengthen background checks in response to the two mass shootings that happened this past week in Florida and in Colorado. The two bills have already passed in the Democrat-led House that pertain to background checks when purchasing a firearm. The first, a bipartisan Background Checks Act that would expand background checks on firearm sales, closing a gun show and online sales loophole. The second bill passed by the House was the Enhanced Background Checks Act of 2021. It extends review periods for background checks from 3 to 10 days. According to AP, Republicans have argued that background checks would not stop mass shootings and would prevent some lawful owners from purchasing firearms. Stay tuned for weather with Scott after this break, but first, here's a look at today's financial market.
Welcome back, Eastern New Mexico. I'm Scott Haas, and this is your full weather update. So let's take a look at our satellite and radar. As we can see, there is quite a bit going on across the country as we see a mixture of snow, rain, and all sorts of other precipitation, and quite a bit of cloud coverage across the northern half of the country. So let's take a look into lovely New Mexico. As we can see, there's not a whole lot going down in the south, but as we look up north, we can see that there's quite a bit of rain and snow mixture, which could drop the temperatures down quite a bit. What does that mean for southeastern New Mexico? Unfortunately, like I said, not too much as we see pretty clear skies. We can be expecting those wind speeds of 10 to 15 miles an hour, so make sure to look for those. Now, let's take a look at some of our current temperatures. As we look in the four corners, we can see Farmington is currently 47 degrees, 44 in Gallup, and 49 in our state's capital. If we take a look at the northeast, we can see 51 in Raton, 64 in Tucumcari, and 59 in Santa Rosa. As we go down to the southeast, we can expect to see current temperatures of 67 in Clovis, 65 in Portales, 74 in Roswell, and 75 down in Hobbs. Now let's take a look at tonight's lows. We can be expecting 28 in Santa Fe, 34 in Albuquerque, 33 in Socorro, and 37 in TRC. Now, we can also see 23 in Raton, 33 in Tucumcari, moving down to the southeast, 33 in Clovis, 31 in Portales, and 38 down in Hobbs. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's highs. We can be expecting 56 in Santa Fe, 58 in Santa Rosa, and 59 down in Albuquerque. As we take a look up to the northeast, 51 in Raton, 55 in Clayton, and 58 in Tucumcari. Moving to the southeast, 60 in Clovis, 61 in Portales, and 70 down in Hobbs. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast as we can expect to see in Carlsbad pretty sunny weekend on Saturday and Sunday as we can expect 70 degrees as the high, jumping up to 82 on Monday and 84 on Tuesday. We will be expecting a slight temperature decrease to 65 to 67 on Wednesday and Thursday, and on Friday we will be expecting cloudy skies at 75. Now taking a look at Tucumcari, we can expect to see 58 tomorrow, 70 on Sunday, and a little bit of wind on Monday. Now, taking a look at Port Tallis, we can expect to see 61 tomorrow, 68 on Sunday, windy, and 78 on Monday, 70 on Tuesday, in the 60s again for Wednesday and Thursday, and jumping right back up to 72 on Friday.
Well, thank you, Scott, for that weather. Make sure you follow those fire safety tips, and we'll have more news for you after the break. Palm Sunday is in 2 days, and the Clovis-Curry County Chamber of Commerce is inviting the Clovis community to encircle the city in prayer while driving the Jericho route around the perimeter of the city. The Jericho route, which has nearly 600 followers on Facebook, will be a Sunday afternoon parade of vehicles traveling 7 laps around the city. Participants are asked to meet in the mounted patrol parking lot at the Curry County Fairgrounds after 1:30 p.m. Then, starting at 2 p.m., participants will drive 7 loops around the city with focused intentional prayer, symbolizing the 7 times Joshua and the Israelites marched around the wall during the Battle of Jericho. This Palm Sunday will mark the Clovis community's 2nd annual Jericho Route Parade. Attendees are not required to drive the loop 7 times. However, participants must obey all traffic laws and social distancing requirements. For more information about the Jericho Route Parade, please contact the Clovis-Curry County Chamber of Commerce at 575-763-3435. Miniature bottles of liquor for off-site consumption will soon be prohibited in the state of New Mexico. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham had signed this new liquor law reform last week and is planning to take effect beginning July 1st. Liquor bottles that contain 3 ounces or less will be prohibited in the state of New Mexico. The reasoning behind this new ban is that the miniature liquor bottles are not good for the community. As stated by Santa Fe City Councilor Sine Lindell, miniatures are made for drinking in that moment, and I think that an awful lot of them are consumed in vehicles and then tossed out the window. This ban is also an effort to reduce the amount of drinking and driving in New Mexico. These new reform measures, will be a way for New Mexico to increase in economic growth and public safety. Kent Taylor, founder and CEO of the Texas Roadhouse restaurant chain, has died. He was 65. His family and the company say he took his own life after suffering symptoms related to COVID-19, including severe tinnitus. Taylor's family and the company on Sunday confirmed the death in a statement. Kent battled and fought hard like the former track champion that he was, but the suffering that greatly intensified in the recent days became unbearable, the statement said. Tinnitus is a common condition involving ringing or other noises in one or both ears. Experts say the coronavirus can exacerbate tinnitus problems. Have you ever wondered how beer is made? Well, I caught up with one of the owners of Bandolero Brewery to find out how it's done. Bandolero Brewery of Clovis brews their beverages in-house. The father-daughter duo who own the brewery explained how it got started and what the process is to brew beer.
So I've been in industrial engineering and maintenance for over 30 years. And as a hobby, I started home brewing about 7 years ago and just kind of took off from there. Okay, the way we make beer here, basically we're combining water and grain in the mash tun. The idea is to rehydrate the grain and create mash. Once the mash has mixed and set for about an hour, then the next step is we transfer the liquid from the mash out to the boil kettle. That liquid is called wort. So once we have that liquid transferred out into the boil kettle, then we start the boil, and at various steps throughout the throughout the boil, we'll add hops or other ingredients to impart flavor into the wort. After an hour in the boil kettle, then our next step is we'll transfer it through a heat exchanger and send it over to a fermenter. So once our beer is in the fermenter and we've got it cooled down to the target temperature, then we add yeast at that point. Generally it takes 1 to 2 weeks for the beer to ferment in the fermenter, and then about 1 more week for conditioning. And then at that point we'll carbonate the beer and we transfer it into kegs. So we keg all our beer here at Bandolero Brewery. Then the next step is we serve it. We'll either serve it in glasses or in growlers for people to take home.
Each fermenter we have fills about 8 kegs. And yeah, so if you go anywhere else, like bigger breweries, they're gonna have bigger tanks that can fill up a lot more. So microbrewery is just you serving less per barrel, and we're also serving food. So we're kind of called it like a micro pub. So we got food and beer. Just like the whole brew system was about $250,000. So that's just that, and it doesn't include like buying the building and then buying all the stuff for the kitchen, and so it was expensive, definitely.
So far we've made 12 different batches, 12 different styles of beer. Most popular beer we have here is our Blueberry Wit. It accounts for more than half of our beer sales at this time.
Currently, we are serving just in-house. We are starting to work on our distribution license so we can start canning and bottling and eventually start selling out. But yeah, right now it's just in-house.
For more information on the brewery, you can visit bandolerobrewery.com. Stay tuned for more news right after this break. It was an exciting end to last night's matchup between the West Texas A&M Buffaloes and the Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters. While the focus has been primarily on the Division I March Madness tournament, last night's game directed a lot of that focus on sophomore shooting guard Zach Toussaint, who hit the game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer to give the number 1 Buffs an 87-86 victory over the number 4 Lincoln Memorial. Check this out.
No timeouts left. Murray to inbound. This is Grant driving. Grant. Ball's loose. It's tipped. That's for the win. Unbelievable. First 3 hit all game, Rich.
The Buffs will now advance to the championship matchup to take on the number 2 seeded Northwest Missouri State. This is the first time in the school's history to make it this far. The game will take place tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Switching gears to baseball, the MLB has been using cardboard cutouts of fans for this season due to the pandemic. Now, the Mariners are excited to welcome back fans into the T-Mobile Park. Patrick Quinn has the story.
It's been 542 days since we had a fan at T-Mobile Park, so we are thrilled.
A look inside T-Mobile Park as the Mariners get ready for opening day amidst a global pandemic.
And once inside the ballpark, you'll see pods on all levels. Pods starting with 1. You can come by yourself, 2, 3, all the way up to groups of 6. They are socially distanced to ensure your safety while you watch the game.
9,000 fans will be allowed for each of the first 11 games. All other seats zip-tied, and those cardboard cutouts will soon be recycled.
But you must buy the entire pod.
Malcolm Rogel knows their pod approach may be used by other arts, music, and sports venues as the region continues to reopen.
Going out is the first big event. We're going to have a lot of people giving us calls about how did this work, what did you see go well, what didn't go well.
Rogel said he hopes after 11 games the state will allow them to open up to more fans. And while some protocols could be relaxed, initially, digital tickets only. No outside food or bags will be allowed in. Limited indoor concessions will be open, and 40 safety ambassadors will walk the stadium to address any fan issues. Rogel said they had to act fast after the governor gave them the green light to have fans. 6 months of planning done in 6 weeks, signed off by county health officials, but soon professional baseball will be back in Seattle and fans will be in the stands.
Is there anything else more worth it? I mean, this is unbelievable to get fans back. We're really excited.
From T-Mobile Park, Patrick Quinn, Como News.
Stay tuned for one last look at your weekend weather report with Scott right after this break. So Scott, with the Wildfire Awareness Week, it's because there's a lot of drought in New Mexico. So what do you have for us on the drought map?
You know, that's right, Claire. There actually has been quite a severe drought all across the Southwest, not even just our state. So right now we can see parts of Nevada, parts of California, parts of Arizona, just everywhere surrounding New Mexico is in a severe drought. But if we look into our state, we can see that there is quite a bit of that dark red, which means we are in the severest of severe droughts. Now, hopefully we can get some rain to cover down that drought. But for the most part, it's looking like pretty dry temperatures and conditions.
Thank you, Scott. That's all the news and weather we have for you right now. But we want to leave you with the sights and sound from Tuesday night's volleyball matchup between the Portales Rams and the Goddard Rockets. The Rockets swept the Rams 3-0. Thank you so much for watching and have a great weekend.
If you please rise, gentlemen, please remove cover for the play.